Just want to start with a spoiler alert. If you have not seen Avengers Endgame, just stop listening to this episode right now. That is one of the main topics of discussion in this episode. If you have seen Avengers Endgame, pull up a chair and let's get started. For those of you staying with us after the Avengers Endgame spoiler alert, welcome to the third episode of NightcapChat, the pop culture comics and gaming podcast. Today we talk about Avengers Endgame, talk about the Nintendo Switch, multiplayer gaming, and our hopes for the MCU. I'm Blade O'Neill, and today I'm joined by one of our original NightcapChat hosts from when we were a Twitch talk show, Lance O'Neill. Lance, thanks for joining us.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So, usually we have Ken on the show, but today we're going to start with some good old video game action. Ken was unfortunately a part of the snap, so we'll see if we can fix that. With all the hype going around Avengers Endgame, Fortnite has released an Avengers Endgame pack? I mean,
it's like a limited time mode.
Okay.
So for the limited time mode, it's actually pretty cool. You're either randomly put onto two different teams. It's either the, Thanos' team with the Shatari army, right, or whatever, and it randomly selects, I think, who's Thanos. I'm not 100% sure on that because I think initially it's just whoever gets the first Infinity Gem. So it's about collecting all the Infinity Gems.
Okay.
And each time you collect them, you become more Thanos becomes more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool because it's almost like...
So it's not the same as the last
No,
Thanos
it's completely
mode.
different than the last mode. And then everyone on the other team is just regular characters. But when you start off with just two guns, like an assault rifle and a shotgun. But when you open boxes, you can get Iron Man's repulsor hand repulsors, whatever, and it makes you fly or shoot enemies. You get Thor's hammer, Stormbreaker.
So all of those items that you see in the trailer for it, it's replacing the guns. It's pickups during the game.
Essentially, yes.
It's not permanent unlocks for your characters.
No. There's Captain America's shield. There's Hawkeye's bow, and it's all like really
Does Hawkeye's
good.
bow suck?
No, it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? One shot
because it has a grapple.
Okay.
And you can it's an unlimited grapple. You just keep grapple, which is pretty awesome. The damage it does is pretty good. It's not one shot, but it does a significant amount of damage. Probably two shots, because everyone in that game mode has more than just 100 health.
Even the Avenger side?
No, your character doesn't, but the little, the Shatari guys, they have.
Are the Chitaris not the other team though?
They are the other team.
Oh, but they don't get pickups.
No, they just have their own gun, which is pretty cool. Like you can charge it up and blast it. It's the same thing, the same guns as it like in the first Avengers movie, kind of a thing.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty good. They have jetpacks too, so they fly around. Iron Man's repulsor things lock onto them. So if you're within, it's not from super far away, but if you're within probably like 75 meters, it locks on automatically. So when you're shooting, it's hit.
That's pretty neat.
It's pretty fun. From what I've gathered, though, it's really hard to win as Thanos.
Yeah.
Have
you played as Thanos?
No, every time I've done it, I've been an Avenger every time, which is fine, but
yeah, Mr. Iron Man.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun.
And for those of you who don't know, Lance has a huge Iron Man collection, huge Iron Man fan, but we'll get more into that as we get into Endgame.
Yeah. So it's a really good mode, and one of the cool things is their new skin that you could buy, which is Black Widow.
What?
Yeah. So you can get you can be Black Widow.
I'm
hair,
incredibly jealous.
Or blonde hair. You can pick the previews, whenever you want. You get her little electric stick things that she has.
Okay.
Her backpack.
What do you mean you get her electric sticks?
For instead of a pickaxe, you get her electric thing. Oh, it's so sick. My gosh. It's so awesome.
It's kind of silly.
It is, but
that's on par with all of their pickaxes so far.
Yeah. I mean, what else are you gonna do for Black Widow? A spider? What do you do?
No, I mean, that's exactly what you would do. Absolutely.
Right. There's also some rumors that they were looking into the code after the most recent update, after they put out Black Widow, and there's a Guardians of the Galaxy under the skins.
Interesting.
So there's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy skin coming up soon.
I'm really surprised that Fortnite has managed to make this deal with Marvel, and especially Disney Marvel, because everything Fortnite has done, like as far as aesthetics go, have really been knockoffs.
Right.
Like the Mercy knockoff and the Genji
No,
and
100%.
the
Even
John Wick and
the Rust Lord, which was like basically Star Lord. And
yeah,
it came
that
out
one,
right after
and
the
there
movie.
was the Thor looking one
The
from
Thor looking, I had that
Ragnarok.
eye patch, and it looked like, I was like, what are you doing?
I'm really surprised that they decided to go along with this.
So I honestly, it was like, it just seemed like two Goliaths that decided, hey, we both can just make a lot of money out of this. Let's just get this done. And I don't think they've really announced what the deal was, but after seeing Endgame, you know what the deal was.
So let's just go ahead and mark a spoiler alert here. For those of you who have not seen Avengers Endgame, what do you mean?
Well, probably the biggest movie ever, right? Okay. Is Endgame, right? And it's probably gonna be the biggest movie, probably even 20 years from now. It's still gonna be, wow, look at Endgame. They probably made a deal of, hey, can I have Black Widow? Sure. Can we put something in our games that we can, like, someone can purchase? Sure. How about we put you in our movie? Like,
we put you in our movie. Oh my gosh, that's right. Fortnite was in
the movie. That was
right,
the deal.
Totally
Everyone watched that and was like, oh my God, Fortnite. I'm going to go home and play Fortnite after this. This movie's freaking awesome.
You know what? Like, and not to get ahead of ourselves here, but as much as I did not care for the Fat Thor stuff, that was incredibly funny when Korg was like, oh, such and such 69 is making fun of me again, Thor.
It was fucking great.
And he was offended that the little kid was trolling him on Fortnite.
It was great. It was, oh my God.
I generally don't like the stupid jokes like that, but that was just too funny.
That was really good. Yeah. So I think that's what that whole deal was. Anyway, no more spoilers right now. But that skin's really cool. They also have a new glider coming out, which is you have to unlock through challenges, which makes it, you know, a little more than just trying to money grab, you know, which is you get the Quinjet, the Quinjet for glider, which is pretty cool. It's better than nothing. So it's just interesting to see how far this deal goes, and if they're going to put some significant characters. I mean, Black Widow is significant, but like even, you know, the Prime 3, you know, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man kind of a thing.
You know, it's really funky that they were able to get an official Marvel license, but they have all these knockoffs like of other characters. Like it's just, I don't know, it's just shocking that it worked out for them.
Have you seen, you saw the trailer, right, for it?
I did not.
Oh, okay. There's this like really dumb looking fish thing.
Okay.
I don't know if you see, it's like this orange fish. It looks like a koi. Like it's just this really dumb skin.
Yeah.
That like kind of, if you're using it, you're just trying to be like silly and stupid. And that's the one that they chose to have Thor's hammer in like their cutscene. And it's really like, I don't know. It's like hilarious, but it's like so dumb at the same time. I don't know.
Weird. It's almost like a throwback to like Frog Thor or something.
Yeah, right. I kind of hope that they maybe at least like have pickaxes of like Thor's hammer, you know, something small. And it doesn't have to be Thor, but like his hammer. That'd be real cool. Swim around Stormbreaker.
And I was gonna say, like, you don't have to do Mjolnir. I mean, Stormbreaker would be an awesome pickaxe in that game. I mean, I haven't played it in a while, but I mean that game mode does sound tempting to like, oh, you know, I kind of want to try this now.
It's fun. Yeah, 20v20.
I have to reinstall it though.
Yeah. It's not that big of a game, so it shouldn't take too long. But it's fun. It's definitely something to try out.
It'll hold us over until Ultimate Alliance, anyway.
Yes, until Ultimate Alliance.
Which comes out when? Is it July?
Middle of July. I want to say July 15th or something
yes.
like that. Looks like it's going to be solid.
After over a decade of waiting.
I know. Oh my gosh. A decade of waiting. And then they said they're going to have a new camera angle mode for it. So instead of that super aerial view, kind of like Diablo 3, and all the other Diablo games, it's good. There's an extra camera mode where it's almost like third person, kind of like Fortnite.
I like third person.
I like third person way more. So that way they even said they want it so that way you can feel like you're more the character, in case people who like that, which personally I love that. That was
as good as all of those games were back then, like Ultimate Alliance and even X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Legends. That's right.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed by that camera angle.
Yeah,
as much as it was fun, and we've played through like all those games.
Yes,
together.
multiple times.
but I did miss that. And that's really smart move. I don't know if that was Disney's call or whose call was that. But I think that's going to make it one of the best games in the franchise. Like just that alone.
And I think, not only that, but props to Nintendo. They cornered they're to me, they have the market cornered right now. There's nothing out there, and they have the exclusive rights to Ultimate Alliance.
They probably spent a lot of money on that.
I'm sure they did. They needed it, but
absolutely they did.
Because all they have is Mario, which to me on itself obviously it's keeping, and Pokemon, yeah. But the new Mario game, phenomenal.
What are you talking about? Odyssey?
Odyssey, great game.
I see. I'm waiting to get a Switch for the new Pokemon games to come out because I don't want to buy multiple Switches. I call it part of my adulthood rebellion is if there's a Pokemon edition of the Switch that comes out with those games, that's what I want.
There is one. It's called Pikachu.
It is yellow and brown. It is so ugly. It is such an ugly Switch. Have you seen it?
I know.
It's yellow. The Joy-Cons are yellow and mustard brown.
I just want you to play Ultimate Alliance with me.
And it's going to have to wait till November.
No. I'm going to beat it like twice over again. It's going to be so good.
Well, you can just invite me over. I can play on your Joy-Cons.
That's true. Drew's going to have it too.
Oh, see, there you go. It'll be fine. Everything will be okay.
It's going to be so good.
I need to
What if there's an Ultimate Alliance version though?
I want the Pokemon version. I
collect
Pokemon consoles. It's not, you know what? I'll tell you why I'm not going to get it, because it's not going to be Deadpool. And if it is Deadpool, I'm not as okay with the state of the current Deadpool. So like,
fair enough. I understand what you're saying.
So
what if it has an Infinity Gauntlet on it?
Wow. So that's tempting.
Right.
That's one of my favorite. I would get an Infinity Gauntlet tattoo, especially now. And now that we've seen how Endgame plays out.
And this is a tattoo on your Switch.
I collect Pokemon consoles though, so I don't collect Marvel consoles. They're not going to do an exclusive Switch for.
They bought the exclusive rights.
And that's exclusive rights could just mean temporarily.
Oh, no. Yeah. It could be a year down the road or 6 months. Yeah.
There will be a PlayStation and an Xbox version.
I have no reason to buy it again, especially when I have it on a console that I could literally take it to the bathroom with me and play Ultimate Alliance. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah. The Switch is pretty solid. There's already a few games I'm excited to get, like the new Mario Party. Have you played it?
No, it doesn't have. There's no star. There's no like stealing stars from your friend.
Are you sure? I heard that they went back to like how it used to be.
Maybe I skipped one. I
thought the new one for the Switch.
I thought the new one for the Switch was just, hey, here's like mini games, and then like that's it. Like there's no like, oh, we're on a board. Oh, I took your star. I hate you. You took my star kind of a thing. Like there's none of that.
I guess we're gonna have to go back and do the research, but I could be wrong, but from what I heard, it's back to how it used to be, because the two before that were just nonsense and incredibly disappointing.
Okay, fair enough.
And I loved Mario Party. I loved all the Mario Parties.
You know what game's amazing?
What's that?
Yoshi.
Yeah, I do want to play. World. I want to play Odyssey. That's one of the games, and that one, and what I just say. Mario Party and even though the new Smash Brothers is pretty much the same. It's just a good game to have.
Yoshi's Crafted World's really good, and it's like it's still couch co-op, play 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's not that difficult, but there's a lot more to it than the regular Yoshi games. Like I just like it's side scrolling, but it's not, because like you see things in the background of a side scroller, right? There might be something going on.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually interact with all that stuff. It's
We've
really
had that before.
It's just a cool dynamic, and you can actually like walk into it, like almost like the second Paper Mario, where you could all of a sudden turn sideways and go to the other side.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. It's pretty cool. I honestly really enjoyed it. And as far as Mario Odyssey, there's so much to do. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Is it as good though as Super Mario 64?
I don't know if I'd say that, but a potential spoiler alert. Like there's like, instead of stars, there's moons.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Well, it's like the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, like usually you go into a map, right, or whatever, there's the world, and then you get your star and you leave, right? And this one, it's not really like that unless like you can get a moon and then go get another moon, another moon, another moon, and then you can leave whenever you want. You only will get kicked out if like the moon changes, like like if the map like drastically changes, then it kind of like kicks you out. So it restarts and you can go back into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the original Mario, how many stars were there? Like in the N64 was like 250, 250?
I thought it was somewhere between 150 and 200.
Okay.
I seem to remember getting about 140.
Do you know how many moons are in this game?
How many?
999.
What?
Yeah. This game is massive.
But how much easier is it to
They are
get?
a lot easier, yes.
Yeah.
Because like you can get 14 in a world now.
Okay.
But there's a lot more like secret things. There's only like, I think there's like 14, 15 worlds and there's 14 per. So there's still like a lot. Like you only need like 150 or something to like complete the game. Like if you want to do it like minimally, it's like 124 or 25 or something like that.
Okay.
But there's still like if you did that, you still have another 700 plus stars to go get.
Interesting.
It's crazy.
So I mean, that's really cool. As far as like single player games, you know, I always loved playing through most of the Mario games, even though I did miss a few. But
yeah, that's what I love about Nintendo. They can, a lot of it's like secret stuff, like, oh, there's a secret part of this map or there's a secret level or whatever. And I feel like a lot of games like really miss out on that. And Nintendo's the only one that I know that that's kind of like their market, but other companies and other games can still incorporate this. And I feel like they just don't. Like, it's like, here's my single player campaign, beat it. And like, that's it. Like, there's no like, oh, secret hidden this or hidden, you know what I mean?
Well, Nintendo has some really good single player stuff and probably some pretty good couch co-op, but their multiplayer has really been lacking. It's probably the biggest thing that might have, I don't know, maybe hurt them.
Oh yeah, significantly.
I mean, but Splatoon, you know, was really successful there for a while, and I don't know what really happened with the second one. It almost like it fell off. Like I feel like I haven't really been hearing anything about.
I think it's kind of like, you know, you gave us a good concept, an interesting game, something different. And then a year or so later, you're like, well, it worked. Maybe people just want a new game. So you put out a new game and it's just like, it's not different enough that people want to go for it. And they're like, well, I played the first one. It's too much like the second one. And it's just, I kind of got bored of it. Not so much like you know what I mean? Like maybe you should just put out like did a Blizzard thing, put out new free updates to try to keep it going.
There you go.
Instead of putting up a brand new game for people to buy for $60.
So what you're saying is Splatoon 2 came too soon. They could have rode the longevity of Splatoon 1, monopolized on merchandising and maybe expanding the lore, giving some DLCs, follow that model that like Overwatch and Fortnite have been following.
The like free to play, but at the same time, some sort of incentivizing to the fan to buy something, whether it's merchandise or buying skins, something that's just
Overwatch and Fortnite are making money. Overwatch, I mean, billions. Fortnite doesn't even charge money to play the game.
No, they don't have 100% free.
But they're doing something good enough to make you want to buy it. Like I still play Overwatch and I play it a lot.
Right, I used to play
Overwatch. I'm still buying things. Like I love Overwatch League. I'll buy certain things, especially like when they did a few things for charity. I know that's not really them making money, but like they had that Mercy skin. Like Mercy's one of my favorite characters. Like I wanted to get in on that. You know, so Nintendo kind of blew it with Splatoon 2 almost by rushing it into a sequel.
Well, I think it's just from them, for their perspective. Anytime they have a good idea, whether it's Mario, whatever, they just put out a new one and it makes money and they're happy. So they just went with the same exact thing they always go with, and I don't think it really didn't work out as well as they obviously planned. But that's just something for them to learn, I think, down the road. Hopefully, it will lead to something different and something better.
Yeah, it's a shame because the first one was quite enjoyable, and it was just so short lived. Like once the second one came out, I had no desire to go back to it.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was different, but there just wasn't, something was missing. And honestly, I think maybe it had something to do with how well at that time when Splatoon first came out, their multiplayer was just online was just not very. They didn't really understand how like Xbox Live, PlayStation. They've been doing that for years. They're just getting into like online live multiplayers. And it took too long. There was like some issues trying to get joined with friends. It was like, okay, like it's 2000, whatever it is, 2015, whatever. And I'm having a hard time joining a party in a video game. Like, this is ridiculous.
But you could have been recovered. They could have recovered from that. And Fortnite is proof of that, because Fortnite in the first few weeks, it was just crashing and talking about not being able to join parties and whatever else. And, you know, that's a thing of the past. And they invested it. They even stopped production on, what was that other game they were doing? Was it Paragon, or I don't even remember what it was called. But it was essentially Smite with a Z axis. Right. But they refunded everybody and stopped all production on that game to just focus on Fortnite, because it became such a phenomenon at that point. And they fixed it.
Right. And it was a very smart move by them to clear up some server space. But I don't know. Fortnite's a different. I don't know. It's
Fortnite's
crazy.
had a huge drop though since last December.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, everything hits its peaks. I think honestly, if it wasn't, Fortnite is, don't get me wrong, great. I love Fortnite. I probably played just as many hours as anybody else, right? I have 1,000 wins. I do pretty well.
You have 1,000 wins?
Yeah. I'm pretty
good.
Are
you kidding me?
Yeah, it's me carrying Joe every game. It's just Joe dies, I pick up his whatever he could give to me, and then I end up clutching the game by myself. It's very frustrating. But it's a great game. You know, I love the building dynamic. Like, that's not really in any other game. Like like there's no games where you just build a wall and it's fun. It's different. You can edit, shoot. I bought a scuff controller just to play this game because it was getting frustrating not being able to edit as fast as people on console. Now I can edit just as fast as those people. So it actually made me invest money into like other things. I'm playing on a PC now at 144 frames, and oh my goodness, how much it's like ridiculous night and day of playing on a console and then playing on a PC, even with a controller. Like, I'm still playing a controller. And it's a joke. Like,
You're playing on a controller on the PC?
Yeah. And I don't miss a shot because of the frames. Like, where I would like try to shotgun somebody playing on my PlayStation that was running at 30 frames max, right? It would almost feel like, because it's about quick, you know, split second, you know, decisions. When I would turn to go shotgun somebody, I would overshoot it, undershoot it a little bit, but it would be like the slightest little thing. When I switched to PC, 144 frames, I didn't miss like a single headshot. I was just boom, turn, boom. Because I would pull it at the exact time where that frame was on the head. Yeah. Like, there wasn't that slight little, you know, miss. It's so much better. It's insane how
you
much
should
better.
learn how to do it with a mouse and keyboard.
I'm so bad on a mouse and keyboard.
No, I get it.
It's not even aiming. I'm so good at aiming. Like, I've played Overwatch on mouse and keyboard and Widowmaker. I will snipe you all day. But if you come at me and I have to run away, I'm dead. I cannot run to save my life.
Yeah,
WASD, nope, not a friend of mine.
There is a learning curve. I do play Overwatch on both. And especially if I'm playing like mystery heroes, I have my Xbox controller plugged in, and depending on the hero, like, I'll just switch. Like, okay, I can't, I know I'm really good at this character. I'm gonna do better on my controller right now because I can't, you know.
And if anyone's out there that's listening and they're like, scuff controllers, should I get one? The answer is 100% yes. If you're into gaming, like I've never had a controller and I was like, wow, this controller is literally making me better.
Yeah.
Being able to just change my button, like the buttons that I want on the paddles on the bottom to whatever I want, like literally whenever I feel like it, is so convenient.
I do understand that. I recently got a gaming mouse, mostly for the extra buttons on the side, because when I'm doing voice work and I'm editing, now instead of doing shortcut keys to silence something or make an edit, all I have to do is push a button, and I'm pushing buttons anywhere on the mouse, so it's like and so much faster. And then, you know, in the long run, you know, you're saving time, saving money. You know, what's also really cool about this is I didn't know why the picture was like this. This actually pops up. Oh, can you grab me that? There's little weights in here. There's little 4-gram weights to put in on each side.
Oh, yeah.
So you can control
take them all out, bro.
The weight. No, it was way too light without it. Like I felt like I was holding nothing.
Well, obviously it depends on each gamer, but messing with stuff like that and then messing with your in-game sensitivity, like depending on you could have your in-game sensitivity to like max, and then you have like the heaviest possible weight, and maybe that's a little more comfortable because you like it heavier, or if you like it super light, like I love it like super light.
Yeah. So
that way I can like whip my whole arm.
It was too light.
I'd lower the sensitivity in the game so that way that whip isn't as bad. So that way like there's that fine, but to each his own. But yeah, I mean, playing on computer, just frames alone is just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And I don't understand, like, there's just people who talk about, playing against people with mouse and keyboard versus controller. And then there's the whole argument of, oh, well, you have aim assist on your controller. Please, just stop. Like, playing with a mouse and keyboard is so ridiculously, like, cheap. Like, if you want to talk about, like, playing on a competitive level, there's reasons why, like, these Fortnite tournaments, there's will be, like, 100 people, right? And there's 3 people that are using a controller. And you can't tell me that, oh, the aim assist is so much better. Like, you're so good with an aim assist. Give me a break. What kind of an argument is that? Like, you guys have 100 buttons that you could do literally whatever you want with.
Mouse. I think the consensus is mouse and keyboard is the way to go.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's so easy. You click on their forehead. That's all you do.
Any esports, it's all mouse and keyboard, no matter what. And so when last year for Overwatch League, when they did the tournament between just the casters and all of them, this what's his face brought his controller because he didn't know how to play on a mouse and keyboard, and they had to figure out how to set it up for him. I forget, it was the Ryan Seacrest kind of guy.
I know who you're talking about.
It was so funny, but they got to figure it out for him. That was fun. And Overwatch League's been a lot of fun. Even though New York once again choked, during the stage 1 playoffs, losing games they shouldn't be.
Wow.
But as far as multiplayer games go, kind of bringing it back a second, games like Overwatch, Fortnite, they have some longevity, even though, Fortnite's recently had a drop off, Overwatch has had a drop off, but they're still active games and the companies are still making money off of them. Whether or not you like them or play it or not, they're making money, whether it's Overwatch League, whether it's these special events that Fortnite is doing. So really, the video game industry is in a really interesting place because it's faced an oversaturation with games like Call of Duty, which have been coming out essentially every year. It's technically every other year because of the 2 different companies. I mean, do you agree? Like it's just been too much. So like what is a company like Nintendo, for example, gonna do? I
mean, Nintendo's lucky in that their single players are literally just keeping them afloat, right? The multiplayer gaming, literally everyone in the industry, like it's almost like everyone's trying too hard to like recreate the wheel, when it's like you don't need to give me this crazy new like. And I know Call of Duty's come back a little bit with World War II in their last game, like, but they started doing like, I'm gonna crawl up the side of the wall and shoot you, and there's robots, and it's like, I don't want this. I want Modern Warfare 2 where I'm just in a desert shooting you with an M16. Like, it's not that complicated.
Overwatch, I'd play Overwatch.
Right. If I wanted to play Titanfall, I'd play Titanfall. But no, I want to play Call of Duty. I want to just shoot someone with a regular M16 with an ACOG scope. I don't need any of this crazy stuff. But like the gaming industry decided like we just need to push like the next cool thing. And honestly, they just really didn't.
Well, everyone just wants to make Fortnite right now. We just got what Battle Royale
up to
and then what was the other one? Apex,
which failed,
Legends.
Just completely crumbled.
Yeah,
there's too many glitches, and they're too busy trying to be like Fortnite, pushing out content, when they didn't even have like a good solid base as far as glitches in the game. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like the second or third week, there was like this glitch where if you push like, I don't know what it was on, if you could even do it on controller, but on the PC, it was like if you push like Control C or something, it would make you like fly in your jetpack thing to the top of the map, and you could just keep doing it, and you would like almost like teleport to random places in the map. Like you could just literally fly around the whole game, and you don't have to worry about anything. Like it was just, there were so many dumb things, and they let these like glitches go, and they're just putting out more content.
See, I wasn't even aware of that.
That's why the game has died
I remember
now.
a few weeks, and now there's just nothing.
There's nothing because like they didn't. It's EA ruining more games. EA, we ruin your games.
EA. Oh, I didn't realize that was EA's game.
Remember they put out right before that. They put out what's the game? I was so down to buy this game, and then I watched gameplay and I didn't buy it.
I have no idea because the last game I bought was Battlefront 2 from them.
It's sad when I click. Oh, Anthem. Anthem comes out, right? This huge game. It looks like Halo, but maybe it's an RPG Halo, which honestly, RPGs, I love RPGs. I know you love RPGs. Yeah. Halo, I love Halo. You love Halo.
I used to love Halo.
Okay, I'm sorry. Pre-Halo 4 Halo. Yeah, love it, right? They put out Anthem, spend ungodly amount of money to try to put this amazing game out. Totally just bombs. Then they put out Apex Legends.
I can't even like I feel like I remember watching trailers and stuff, but like I barely even.
Their trailer for the game looked like a movie. Like you watched it and you're like, wow, this looks like some 4K movie. Like you weren't even sure if you were watching a video game or an actual actors, and it was a video game. But the game was like, it was supposed to be the next best thing. It bombs. But good thing they have Apex, this free game that's starting to make all this money. But then
I see this now.
They decided to push out content for Apex and not worry about the whole game. And, you know, Fortnite, they put out a lot of content, and sometimes it's like, hey, there's these bugs and you really need to fix them, and you're still pushing out content. But at the end of the day, they do still fix it and get it done. But especially in the beginning, they were fixing their glitches in the beginning.
Well,
it's
the beginning, it was bad in the beginning.
It was, but they fixed it, and then they worried about content.
Yeah.
And then they started doing some things. But Apex, it was too young. People are invested to some point. So the biggest thing is pretty much what everyone should get out of this was people want something other than Fortnite. Mm-hmm. Everyone likes it, but it's been years. We've had Overwatch. Overwatch became really toxic. People wanted something else. People found Fortnite. It was free. They're like, cool, I'll just play Fortnite.
It was free and it was something different. So
and it was something completely different.
Overwatch is still there.
It is still there. But it did lose like a big base of its community.
Sure. But so did Team Fortress. And what everyone needs to go back, and Blizzard was arguably one of the first people to look back at a game as successful as Team Fortress 2 and be like, this hasn't changed. This has just been supported and whatever, and has this fan base and just needs to keep going. You just got to incentivize people to keep playing it. Exactly. I mean, World of Warcraft kept adding the expansions, right. But I mean, there is that option to start it for free. Right. And get hooked on. Eric and I actually just started playing World of Warcraft the other day.
I've yet to do that because I'm scared.
It's free to level 20.
I know it is. And then you just make a new character.
But you can just try it. Well, no, not just make a new character. You just make sure you want to invest in it first.
I know the answer to that question already because I've played it up to level 20.
Okay, see, there you go. So like I'm dying to get back to my Warlock, but like I haven't even caught up on the expansions on that. You know, I've only played, I think, as far as the Burning Crusade content. But anyway, that's a whole different, that's an MMO. Like that's so much beyond
right, that's
just multiplayer gaming. I mean, the MMO has pretty much been figured out. I mean, if you've played World of Warcraft, you understand games like the Old Republic and Final Fantasy XIV. Skyrim.
Well, I'm sorry, not Skyrim.
Oh, you mean Elder Scrolls Online? Yeah, that was
Elder
okay.
Scrolls was pretty good. Skyrim was way better, but Elder Scrolls, I feel like there was some missed opportunities there. It should have been a little.
I started Elder Scrolls Online on PlayStation 4. Like it was on sale for like a stupid amount at Target when you price match Target.com or something. But I played it and I was like, I'd rather just play WoW.
Right, and it's one of those games. I mean, for me at least, it's something. It's fun, but it's something you have to play with people. If you don't have a group of people to play with, at least for Elder Scrolls, it just wasn't worth really getting into.
I'd say even World of Warcraft though.
Yeah.
I don't have as much fun if I'm not playing with somebody.
But as far as the back to the regular shooting multiplayers, and as far as that goes, ever since Overwatch, there literally hasn't been really anything, and it's kind of frustrating. And like I said before, some of these big battle royale games that keep coming out, Realm Royale, Apex, they're trying to just get on the Fortnite bandwagon, and when it's not even. I hate battle royales. I play Fortnite all the time, and I absolutely hate it. I hate the whole idea of sitting, waiting in a lobby, jumping into a game, and just if I instantly die, great. Now I have to go back to the lobby. Like, that's so annoying. I just want to shoot somebody. I want to play some games. I just want to shoot, right? I just want to play something.
I would argue that's why one of the most interesting parts of that. Oh man, I keep calling it the chicken game, so it makes me keep forgetting what it's actually called. Realm Royale. I think that was one of the most interesting things that they implemented was the ability to resurrect your teammate. You can do that. Really?
Yes. There's these vans in the game where you can resurrect your teammate. They come back with 100 wood and a gray pistol. And then if you want, if you're near your stuff, you can go pick up your stuff, which is cool. But they now implemented that. And I think that the big part of that was because of Apex, you could do that.
Yeah.
Apex, you could bring back your teammate, which was kind of cool. I can bring back my squad. And they incorporated it pretty much the same way Apex did it, as far as there's a van and there's
something there to,
and then that's it.
Make it happen.
And it's interesting. It's less useful than it was in Apex, because Apex, it was a lot easier to get away from a team.
Mm-hmm.
And in Apex, you
Apex
had these
or Realm Royale?
Either.
Oh, okay.
Either of them, you could just get on a horse, or you could just have you have a grapple ability, or you can turn invisible. There was a really easy way to kind of get out of it. Where in Fortnite, yeah, you can build, but if it's like a whole nother team, you're probably getting sprayed down. You're dead. It doesn't really matter. The chances of you reviving your friend, you're probably not going to revive him as often as the other games. But it's fun sometimes, and it takes forever to revive your friend. Like, you sit there next to the bus for like 15 seconds and you can't build around it. So you're just sitting there in the open, just hoping nobody shoots you. But it's an interesting dynamic. It's nothing game changing though.
It'll be interesting to see what the future holds as far as multiplayer games. Cause like we've had a lack of couch co-op, which has been frustrating in certain situations.
I think the big thing on that though is they're still trying to, get the younger audience, and the younger audience at this point, like talking like 15 and 18 and under, probably at this point, they don't even know like really what a coach couch. Like, nobody does coach. Like, they probably never did a coach co-op couch. Sorry, coach. Wow, couch co-op in their life, because like there just hasn't really been any games that like you really got brought up on that.
Yeah.
Whereas we used to play that as kids all the time. Like, it's great. Couch co-ops are the best. Like, you just sit there, play on the same screen or split screen, whatever. I don't really care. Especially today, everyone has a 50, 60-inch TV. It's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, everyone today is just like
splitting your little 20-inch tube.
Right, which was really frustrating. And then once they first changed, we can play online together on different consoles. Cool, we get our own TV. But now everyone has huge TVs. Who cares? But now everyone's just like, hey, you want to play games? Okay, I'll go home and I'll see you online. Okay, like, that's it. All right. So now they're just trying to push out these online multiplayers, which is fine. It's great. But at the end of the day, sometimes I just want to play games with my wife. I want to play games with my friends at my house. Like, I don't want to have to need multiple consoles.
Or have to play Smash. Yeah, I mean, like my wife and I play together, and we have two TVs next to each other and two consoles.
Yeah,
why can't we just play on the same console together? We can't.
That's what I want.
Of games.
Yeah. It's frustrating. And I think like games like Ultimate Alliance will hopefully, will show that those things are useful. Or at least just have the option. I don't think it's that difficult to ask for the option. I don't think it's going to cost them that much money to make this game a split screen and also online.
In many cases, absolutely. I don't think it is an expensive option, and that's going to be one of the biggest anticipations of Ultimate Alliance, is having a good, couch co-op option, on online option, and I'm hoping to be able to mix that too. Have 2 local and have someone else joining. Like that would be the best.
I don't know. I read it recently and I don't remember it saying either or. Like I don't remember. I know it says it has both, but I don't know if you could do both at the same time.
But you know,
I know what you're
I would
saying,
hope
though.
for that.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I would like to be here and then we can sign in and play with you. That would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Because you know, you want it to be. You assume you want to have 4 people in there. You know.
But as far as the shooting multiplayers, yeah, it's just not. Give me something good, anything, literally anything, other than what you guys have put out. Division 2, Division 1. After all the updates, it took a couple of months. It was very glitchy. They kept putting out guns, and it was like, this is ridiculously overpowered or whatever. Great game, phenomenal game, loved it. 10 out of 10 after it was all done. Division 2, couldn't wait, played the beta, terrible. And I'm not like, it was when they were really close. Like it was the same game. It was just in Washington, D.C., which is fine. I have no problem. I don't know anything about Washington. I knew a lot about New York, so it was kind of cool, like walking around New York City. But they did something to the camera angle and the gameplay, and it completely like ruined the game. It was almost like it was exactly like EA doing Battlefront 2, and it was, hey EA, Battlefront 1, okay, it was really good. You gave me no content. It was the same 5 maps, the same 6 guns. Like there just wasn't too much to it. So the replay value ended up getting a little boring. So you're like, okay, so you want more content, right? Yeah, I want more content. Here's every character you could ever want. Cool. But we'll give you the worst gameplay ever. Not so cool. So that was literally what, like, they did the same thing EA did. You just need to give me the same exact gameplay with more content. That's all I was asking. And you messed it up. And both the companies did the same exact thing. And it's just frustrating. Like, I don't want games to be perfect, but like you address a change and then you change something that we didn't want to be changed.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem I have with Battlefront 2 is it just I don't even know how to really describe it, but it just didn't feel right.
No, the whole time you're shooting, it's like there's something wrong. I don't know what it was, but it just felt wrong.
I totally agree. And in spite of that, I enjoyed the campaign because I only had to fight robots, so I was able to get through it, or AIs, I should say, I guess. But I got through it, and luckily, I was invested in Inferno Squad and I did Versio, and I went on my way to read the tie-in novel first. But like I love Star Wars lore, and I read the novels and I read the books, and like it was a cool expansion of the mythology because Iden turned out to be one of the pilots during the battle of the first Death Star, and she survived it. So like from her point of view, this was a terrorist attack, and she didn't really know any better. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I really wanted to like Battlefront 2, and I had so much fun on the first Battlefront. Obviously it had its problems, but I just stopped playing it, and it's unfortunate.
It is. There is no replay value in it.
Well, we'll see what they do with the Fallen Jedi, or the Jedi Fallen Order game. Is that does look pretty good. But before we get too far off course here. Avengers Endgame came out last weekend.
Boom.
Already the biggest opening weekend in cinematic history, making $1.2 billion.
That's what the billion.
Just shattering records, taking names left and right, and this was just a fantastic ending of an accumulation of 22 films.
In case any of you out there are like wondering, like, wow, they made a lot of money. That sounds like a lot, right? But it did cost them like a lot of money to make. Understandably, it cost them half $500 million to make, right? Because there's so many actors.
Both movies though?
I believe so.
They filmed them both back to back.
But to give you an idea, 1.2 billion, right? Frozen for its entire time being out. Okay. So all how many ever months, 10, 12 months, whatever it was, made 1.2.
Well, not 10, 12 months.
Whatever it was, $1.27 billion. Okay. So it literally did Frozen in a weekend, in a couple days. Okay. Wow. So just to put that in perspective, it's going to shatter records. It's phenomenal.
Yep. Yeah. 1 billion in one weekend has not happened yet, even with a movie as good as Infinity War.
That made 600 million. It doubled it.
Yeah. And that was good. And that was a great pace, Awesome. Yeah. Before that, I think the record to 1 billion was 5 days, I think it was. And that was Infinity War's record, I believe. But the fact that it did it that quick was phenomenal. If this movie does not beat Avatar, I don't know what will.
I will never see another Avatar movie again if it doesn't. Right. I will wait for it to come out on DVD.
And I don't mean to alienate any of you guys, but like I don't understand the hype of Avatar,
it's
quite honestly.
Pocahontas with blue people.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Endgame was fantastic. And, here's your last chance to not be spoiled any further if for whatever reason you have not seen it. But definitely recommend go seeing it. Oh, let's start off with the positive.
Okay.
What was your absolute favorite thing from Endgame?
Oh my God, my favorite thing. That's hard to say. There's so many things.
All right, pick two. Quick, go.
Quick. Cap picking up the hammer.
Okay, yes,
that was pretty cool.
That was definitely
I saw it coming, but once I saw that you saw the hammer lift, I was like, he's not grabbing it. That's Cap picking it up, 100%.
Really?
I knew it the second.
It surprised me.
No, I was like, that's Cap. I even like stood up in my seat. I was like, I'm like Alicia, and she's like, what? Like she's probably thinking the same thing of you, like Thor, because Thor's trying to grab it, right?
I thought Thor was trying to hit Thanos in the head.
Cap's got this, and then I saw it. I was like, F yeah,
yes,
it was so good. And then you're gonna disagree with me, but the lineup of women scene was great because if any of you have ever seen my comic room, it's just a wall of just all the best, female Marvel characters. I got Gamora, Black Cat, and just all of them from Greg Horn art and stuff like that posted up on my wall. So just to see that scene in a movie was just like, oh, that's so I felt like I was looking at my wall in a movie theater. It was so cool.
That's fair. I just thought it was a little staged and in your face. Like, that's all. I just thought it could have just been handled a little better and nothing beyond that.
I understand their point because it's like, they're probably never going to get that group of characters in one shot ever again. So you might as well just go for it.
They could do an A-Force movie or whatever, especially now that they're getting the rights
but everyone's going to
X-Men.
take that as
sure. But I'd rather just have an A-Force movie. I'm all about that. I think that'd be cool.
A-Force would be cool. Yeah, I would love that.
And we're gonna get Storm, and whatever too. But yeah, I mean, really, it was a great conclusion. It differed from the Infinity Gauntlet story that most of us, all know and love. And Infinity Gauntlet was my favorite comic arc ever,
Oh, yeah.
And I have the comics. I have a graphic novel collection of it that I've lent to people. And I've gotten several people just to read this just for lending it. And one time I didn't get back and I just bought another copy of it again last weekend because I ended up not getting it back. So I'm gonna read it again. But skimming through it again, one thing I did not pick up on, which I thought was interesting, because I love Scarlett Johansson. She's one of my favorites. I got a huge crush on her. The Black Widow's my favorite. So seeing her die to get the Soul Stone, I was crushed. I was really disappointed by that. It was cool that it was her sacrifice and all that. But skimming through the Infinity Gauntlet again, Black Widow dies before the battle with Thanos in the comics. Really? It's like 3 panels, but I forgot about it. Of course, it's different. She was, there's chaos going on because of the snap, and there's a building collapsing, and she goes in and tries to save him, and she gets killed. So Black Widow actually dies in Infinity Gauntlet. I
forgot that. Actually, I reread it like a couple days ago.
It's like 3 panels.
And I only read it from after the snap. I reread everything after that. So I just completely, I didn't even.
Well, the snap's like in the beginning.
It was like a comic or two after. It was like the 3rd, 4th comic.
No.
That's where I started.
What were you reading?
I was reading Infinity. I was reading the same thing. I was just like, I know what happens leading up to it. Because
Infinity Gauntlet. Oh, you're not talking about the snap. You're talking about after Adam Warlock comes around.
Yeah, I'm talking about after he did the snap and he's Nebula's there burning and everything. All that's already done. I'm talking about after that where Galactus comes and all the other beings are like, okay, we need to stop this crap kind of thing. So that's where I started, and I'm now mad at myself that I didn't go all the way back and read the whole thing. But I just wanted to get a refresher before the movie came out. I know it's not gonna be a completely same adaptation. They're gonna take some things and not use other things. But I just wanted to make sure there's nothing I forgot. So, but that is an interesting point.
Yeah,
that she does die. Did you want Hawkeye to die instead?
Yes, absolutely. I don't care about Hawkeye. I cared about Black Widow. And I was just shocked because we're supposedly getting a Black Widow movie.
Well, it's a prequel.
Obviously, it's a prequel, but I guess I was just expecting a little more out of her story. I feel like Hawkeye, we already had the resolution. He's already done everything he could. We already did the thing where his family gets killed. We did Ronin. What else are we gonna do with Hawkeye? I mean, I know
he's
there's
gonna
Hawkeye
train his daughter.
Okay, whatever.
Finish training his daughter. I guess that's the whole
so she's
thing.
going to take over for Kate Bishop instead of having Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, or whatever.
She's going to replace
Hawkeye's
both characters. She's going to replace Black Widow and Hawkeye because she's a female, so she replaces Black Widow, and then she replaces Hawkeye because she's Hawkeye.
Okay, and I think that's the process, and that's fine. That's inevitable, and but really, what this boils down to is 15 years ago, we could have only have ever wished for an Infinity Gauntlet movie.
Right.
Let alone one that accumulated 21 other movies that led with mostly the same actors. So like at the end of the day, 15 years ago, we would have killed for just to get what we got, regardless of whatever problems
and the fact that they made it into 2 movies and essentially a 5.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
Which is props to Marvel. They did a great job. And props to them making it 3 hours. And I know a lot of times, and I know from a financial standpoint, you say to yourself, if I make this a 2-hour movie, I can show it an extra one time every day in 16 different theaters at every movie theater. So you can make a little more money. But they're like, no, we're doing a 3-hour movie. And they still made $1.2 billion.
Yeah,
so
that's a great point.
Props to them for just going for it. And it worked. And everyone who thinks, oh, you can't make a 3-hour movie, nobody's going to want to go see that. Go look at the numbers.
Well, and did everybody forget about Lord of the Rings?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, people did forget. And the fact that the Lord of the Rings extended version was 4.5 hours, 5 hours, whatever it was. And it was a better movie when it was that long. Yeah. So,
if I think most of the time, yes, you probably don't want to make this huge, crazy long movie for no reason, but sometimes you just got to do it and be confident, especially when it's something that has a following like Lord of the Rings or Marvel. And, DC should really get on board. It's
also a little different, I think, today, because I know everyone talks about we're in the day and age of, people with short attention spans and they watch 5-second clips on YouTube and especially when Vine came out. Right. But at the end of the day, when people love their TV shows, love Game of Thrones, love whatever, and they Netflix shows, they go out on Netflix and everybody binge watches it. They watch 9 hours straight. So what's wrong with watching a 3-hour movie in a movie theater? It's no different than you being home on Netflix watching an entire season of a show in one day.
I finished She-Ra last week on season 2. It came out on Friday. I finished it on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone does that. So I don't think really it's that far off to say that a 3-hour movie's too. I think it's fine.
If you have the story, go for it.
Yeah. 100%.
If you have the substance, and Infinity War and Endgame prove that.
Oh yeah, 100%. There was so much to tie up. You 22 movies of stuff to tie up of Black Widow and Hawkeye. That's going to end. How is it going to end? Oh my goodness. I'm going to cry every 5 seconds. I don't know who I'm crying for. Am I crying for Black Widow? No, I'm crying for Hawkeye. Oh, am I crying for Hawkeye? Black Widow. No, I don't know what I'm doing right now.
I was like, okay, good. Natasha's not going to die. Oh no, she stopped him. Oh wait, he stopped her back. It's okay. No, wait. Okay, they're dangling off a cliff now. I don't know what's going on. The whole time though, I know this doesn't make sense, but he talked about, suffering loss. So I thought the Soul Stone was just going to magically appear in Hawkeye's hand because his family died.
I didn't think that. When they went there, I was like, someone's going to die.
I thought that was going to be the twist. It was that nobody had to die. But then, of course, that didn't make sense. The Soul Stone, wants a soul for a soul.
I thought at first they were going to have because, they had this relationship where they're like really good friends. They love each other. They will do anything for one another. And I thought they were actually going to make it that they like had feelings for one another, because it was supposed to be you
thought they were going to kiss?
I thought they were going to kiss or something. I was like, and they kind of didn't. I was kind of disappointed, but I was like, okay, yeah. It's just like
his wife died.
I understand that, but there's still like this lady. You know, I understand there's your wife, you love her, but especially in the comics, it's, you know.
I was almost expecting that too, because there was one scene where they looked at each other. I'm like, are they going to kiss? Because that's weird, because he's upset his family just died.
But he owes her a lot, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
They owe each other, and it was a very good way to do it. You know, them going out and them fighting like they always do in so many other movies. Avengers, in Civil War, they fought in both those movies. They were always up against each other, but at the same time, they were always still friends. They still cared for one another. It was a really great way. It's something you really didn't want to see happen, but they did a phenomenal job with that. And that was a rough scene to go through.
Yeah. Or I'm sure it wasn't as rough for you as seeing your boy.
Before we move on to that, am I the only one that had a problem with when Hawkeye came back? Right? It's like she died, and they're talking about like, oh, can we get her back? And Hawkeye goes, I don't know the exact line, seen the movie once, but he goes along the lines of, why don't you tell the red guy, you know, tell him, you know, about like whatever you said, that like we can't bring her back because he said like a soul for soul. Why don't you go argue with the red guy? And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is Hawkeye, right? He's like a SHIELD agent dude. I'm sure he's read up a lot about history and stuff and knows bad guys and Hydra. I'm sure if he sees Red Skull, he knows who the hell Red Skull is.
You think he would know who the Red Skull was?
You don't think he's seen a picture of him?
I wouldn't say that he hasn't seen a picture of him, but would you have as quickly put it together if he was like this floating freaking image of death?
I'm sorry, but if you've seen Red Skull's face once in a picture or not, you see his face again, you're like, I'm pretty sure that's Red Skull. That's not just like, oh, it's just some white guy. That's Red Skull. There's no other guy with a red face and no nose. Like, what do you mean?
You don't know that.
Oh my God.
This could be just some other messed up looking guy who happens to be red.
How did neither of them notice? Like, one of them, they come on.
Because he's like also like this now like sentient being. He's not this Nazi Hydra or whatever. He's
Hitler, kind of, right? If I saw Hitler,
Hydra Hitler, because they really took away the Nazi aspect.
I understand, but he's like Hitler to the Marvel universe, right?
Sure.
If I saw Hitler in real life, I would be like, that's Hitler. Like I would say this guy that looked like Hitler told me this, not, you know what I mean? Not this red guy. I'd be like, not this guy with a mustache. It's Hitler.
Okay, that's pretty funny, and that might be true. I guess I was just more disappointed that it wasn't Death or something. Marvel's Death was always one of my favorites, especially with her relationship with Thanos and her relationship with Deadpool. And she's just a cool cosmic being. The cosmic beings are awesome, and they just didn't have the audacity to do it.
Can we touch on something then, since we're talking about this?
What's that?
Okay. We have the Infinity Gauntlet, right?
Okay.
One of the greatest comic things of all time. Comic events, amazing, phenomenal read. Part of the reason it's so amazing is the cosmic beings that are involved in it and how they have to struggle to try to help stop this, right? Where are my cosmic beings? Why are they sitting on the sidelines doing absolutely nothing?
Maybe they're not going to be introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Are you kidding me? I mean, you have Celestials' heads. Like, you have things that are in the universe. You've talked about it. You've teased it. You give me Infinity War. Okay, after the snap, you ended the movie. We don't know anything could happen right after that. You ended the movie. Next movie, he has the Infinity Gauntlet for 5 years, and not a single
No, and he didn't have it for 5 years. The 5 years was after they came in and killed Thanos at the beginning.
Right. That's the 5 year when they killed Thanos in the beginning, right?
And then 5 years goes by after that.
I'm sorry. It was 20 something days because Stark was missing for 21 days. Yeah. Then it was like 2 days later, they went out and found him. But you're telling me for 3 weeks, they didn't go over to see what Thanos was doing. They let him destroy the Infinity Gems without blinking an eye. Are you kidding me? These are things that like Eternity had to make them so that they couldn't be used in unison anymore because they were so powerful and they didn't want anyone to use them again. He went to a catatonic state and all this. Then the living tribunal had to be like, what's wrong with him? Like there was this crazy stuff that happened with it. And you don't even like mention nothing. Nothing even happened. Like there had to be something. Like there was such a lack of, there needs to be bigger beings that gets involved with this. I don't understand, like, is the Infinity Gauntlet like this amazing thing or is it this just whatever thing?
I felt like they made it, I feel like the comics, they're more powerful than the movies really played them to be because, you know, you had Captain Marvel be able to just hold Thanos' hand to stop a snap and he wasn't able to snap his fingers, but he pulls the Power Stone out of the gauntlet to use it separately instead of just being able to just will it to do anything.
Because he had to close his hand to use the abilities, right?
Really? That's what it comes down to?
Well, Infinity War, that's all it was. In Infinity War, every time he used any strength, he closed his hand. That's why Iron Man threw the thing on his hand and he couldn't close it. That was the whole reason of that. That's why Captain America in Infinity War, when he got back to Wakanda, he was holding his hand and Thanos was like looking at him like, man, this guy's not letting me close my hand. What the hell? And he knocked him out real quick. Like, I'm kind of impressed, Cap. Like, and I'm sorry, if Cap can stop him from closing his hand, Captain Marvel should have no issue stopping him from closing his hand.
Okay, you're right. But I guess my point is that it should have been more. And then the gauntlet like hurt itself and everybody like when you used it.
Well, I understand though, because everybody when he used it, yeah, especially for humans, yeah.
But like for Thanos, I feel like that should not have happened. He like burned his face from doing it.
No. His face got burned because he destroyed them all.
Okay, I understand.
And he almost killed him, which is why they killed him so easily.
He was already a little burnt from the snap though, and then he was double burnt from destroying.
It was more than double. He was limping.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't want the stones to be destroyed like that.
So here's my biggest thing about the stones, right? And so at one point during the movie, Hulk is trying to help, get the Infinity Stones, right? Bruce Banner's out there talking to the Ancient One, right? Mm-hmm. And the Ancient One's talking to him like, listen, man, I can't really give you this because I'm trying to protect your reality kind of a thing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, yeah, makes sense. Why wouldn't she give it to him? Eventually he convinces her, right? But before they talk about it, she says, if I give you one of these stones, then it's going to create an alternate timeline, right? Because it's going to change everything.
Yep.
But then she also says, without our chief weapon against the forces of darkness, our world will be overrun by millions and will suffer, right? Okay. So you're telling me there's no reality stones. So we're going to be screwed, right? So now if there's no stones, period.
No time stone. She was referring to the time stone.
I understand that. No time stone. I understand that.
Yeah.
But if there's no stones, period, like nothing, okay, which there is now, no longer in the universe, he destroyed them all. So what's going to happen now after Endgame? Because there's no stones, period. Like, I understand that at that moment she was worried about now, but now there's no stones. So what did you really accomplish? You like brought them back to help, but now there's no stones.
I think eventually they're going to come back. Because he said something along the lines about disintegrating them into like their own atoms and stuff. And as soon as he said that, the whole time I thought, oh, well, Ant-Man's in the quantum realm and he's talking about how he got so super small and all that stuff. I thought they were all just going to end up shrinking down, finding just one molecule of Infinity Stone each and use the Pym particles to make it grow. And they were going to have Infinity Stones again.
That'd be interesting. Or maybe
I guess they can still do it.
I just hope they don't do something silly where it's like, this is how we're going to have the Fantastic Four get their powers.
You know what I'm confused about is in the comics, I guess the argument is that it's not an alternate reality. It's the same reality, but you cannot use Infinity Stones from a different reality in another reality.
It's the same reality though.
I guess that's what it is, right? It's from the past. So it's the same reality. It's not like they use the Earth 616 stones within the MCU because that's what would not work.
Right.
Because like Dr. Doom had an Infinity Gauntlet in an alternate reality, but it was not from that reality and he was not able to use it. But I don't know, for whatever reason, he kept it. So I guess that's what it boils down to. That was just something I was really questioning. I mean, there's certainly twists and there was a lot of unexpected things and especially Fat Thor.
That was
really weird.
Super annoying. No, I maybe that's okay for like a couple minutes or whatever. And maybe, hey, you have him get Stormbreaker and he's just normal Thor kind of a thing. Like, oh, boom. Okay. I'm back
how do
to
you
Thor.
explain that?
I don't know. It's magic. What do you explain? And like, really, you don't even need an explanation, but I didn't need Fat Thor the entire movie. That was just dumb. That was a stupid idea.
That was really disappointing. I get it was the unworthy Thor and all that. And he was almost like reminiscent of Hercules, like almost kind of maybe like in a bad state, but like the way he was like drinking and stuff. And that's cool. That's fine. Unworthy Thor is cool. Like it's a different storyline and character progression, especially when he ends up just joining the Guardians of the Galaxy,
which is interesting.
This is fine. And I think they did something similar in the comics. Like they did have the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not sure Thor was a part of it though, but Angela
is a part of it. Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Iron Man
now I'm wondering like, are we going to get Angela in a future, maybe a Guardians movie?
They ruined that already.
What? Because
she's
Hela's
Thor's sister.
Yeah. Now he has another sister, and they're gonna make a joke that how many hidden siblings does Thor have?
Well,
now?
Odin couldn't keep it in his pants. So I mean.
That's what it comes down to. But yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see Angela make her debut, but I do doubt that.
I really hope she does. Honestly, I love her character. It's great.
So cool.
She's such a good character.
It's possible, we see Marvel do things like make action figures and they appear on t-shirts. Like there was that Marvel Legends Angela fairly recently. So, it might be on the radar.
Yeah. And I wouldn't put it past them. One thing they have gotten away with is repeating stories almost where it's like, okay, like Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, like, all right, Iron Man, okay, like a bad Iron Man. Okay, Iron Man, a bad Iron Man.
Or how about Inhumans? Like, Inhumans was just Thor. Like, the evil brother is taking over and gets the real king kicked out.
Yeah. And like they've done a really good job with repeating the same thing and getting away with it. Even Black Panther, it's essentially the same thing. Black Panther, there's Black Panther. Oh, there's an evil cousin that wants to take over. Like, okay, like.
Oh, I see. So you're saying like that's like Thor.
It's like Thor again.
Just fighting.
It's just a kingdom. Like it's the same thing, but you're getting away with doing the same thing, but nobody's really calling you out on it. So I wouldn't put it past them to do an Angela thing and be like, yeah, it's your sister, and nobody really bats an eye to it because the character is so cool and they just do such a good job with their movies in general. But we'll see. One of the things I found was really interesting as far as the future is, so they introduced time travel, right? This was pretty much the only reason why they got rid of the situation they were in.
And really interesting that they introduced it because the comics have made use of it plenty of times, but could have easily have been taken as a cheap cop-out.
Right. And at this point, you're so deep into a movie, it honestly takes a big set of huevos to try to have a movie, after 22 movies, have a climax where you go back in time and hope that people aren't like, really, you're going back in time? That's how you're doing this. But they did a great job. But the thing that gets me is going back in time. That really makes me think that the next thing is going to be Kang.
Interesting.
The next bad guy, the next Thanos, the next 10 movie lead up, Kang all day. Because you start to travel. So you start messing with time travel and maybe it leads to Kang movie.
You're absolutely right. Because you know what? Thanos just died in the past. So now what is going to happen? It's Jurassic, whatever's going to happen in the MCU in this new timeline where 2014 Thanos, if you will, is dead. Right. And so is 2014 Nebula. But now you have Gamora coming back. What chain of events is going to happen that's going to make Kang like, whoa, what is going on here?
And guess what? You know what other chain of events changed?
Loki
taking the Cosmic Cube. Because they didn't get the Cosmic Cube. They went back to 1970 and grabbed the Cosmic Cube and then brought it back.
I did see that kind of leaves it open for the Loki TV show to see like what kind of adventures he's going to have.
And the biggest thing I think also is because that happens, it just leaves it open for the What If TV show.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one of the big things that they're talking about doing. But I think 100% Kang's probably going to be the next thing. I also think Dormammu, just because they got rid of the Time Stone that she was talking about, it's going to open up, millions of people are going to be endangered because it's not going to be able to protect us from evil because he was she was always constantly trying to protect them from another reality. It definitely opens up the door for Dormammu to be like, oh, I can actually enter this realm or enter this reality, and he's going to come out. So I think it left open the door for some huge characters to possibly make their way in.
I feel like that Dormammu will just end up being a Doctor Strange 3 villain of some kind of scale, but Kang being the Thanos of whatever this next saga is, because Kang has like Avengers kind of story arcs, as well as I believe Fantastic Four. Yep. So I mean that could potentially be a crossover.
His first appearance, I believe, was Fantastic Four.
I think so too. So that'll be a crossover with Fantastic Four, with whatever this new iteration of Avengers could be. Maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Don't forget, in Infinity Watch, Kang teams up with Doctor Doom.
Really?
To go and stop Magus.
Okay.
Which is, Adam Warlock's evil side, or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
So that maybe that's some way they want to go. Maybe they didn't want to use him without, Doctor Doom, whatever, because Doctor Doom actually, goes to get him from the future or whatever, talks to him, whatever. I forgot exactly how it worked out. But there is one thing though. Adam Warlock, right? You introduce him in Guardians of the Galaxy, and you bring Infinity War and Endgame, and you don't they're like that one scene when they start shooting at something far away and it ends up being Captain Marvel. I thought two things: Adam Warlock or Living Tribunal. And I'm like, oh my God, what's about, like, they stopped shooting at everybody and they're shooting at this one thing. And I'm like, okay, it's shining. Oh my gosh, what is this?
I thought
Captain Marvel. I was like, okay, kind of cool, but like, really? Like, where's my amazing beings? Where are they?
Yeah, I know. I can't believe they introduced Adam Warlock in that teaser. And even as far back as the first Avengers movie, like, to challenge them is to court death. And neither of those were brought back around.
Which I'm trying to get, like, at this point, you've been doing so well for 10 years and 22 movies, or 24 now, I guess. I guess I have to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they're thinking, okay, after Thanos, we're going to do something bigger, because you have to do something bigger, right? You can't go like, okay, we're going to do him and then do like something not as big. Then we'll use the Celestials. You know what I mean? Then we'll go even higher, where Kang's messing with realities and the Celestials like, whoa, hey, no, go back to your timeline. You're screwing everything up, or whatever. Or Adam Warlock steps in or something. I guess I have to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've done so well.
Yeah. I think they're going to be less relevant in this universe. Like, I could see, like, I mean, especially now that, the Doctor Strange movie introduced like the staff of the Living Tribunal, for example. Like, the first appearance of the Living Tribunal was a Doctor Strange story. I don't remember if it was Strange Tales or a Doctor Strange title. But I mean, he might be introduced in a Doctor Strange movie for whatever kind of cosmic things he ends up getting into.
So here's a question I have though. Doctor Strange, he's pretty cool, pretty powerful, right? He's learned some things from the Ancient One. But his biggest thing was like he had an Infinity Gem. Like, now what?
I know. I was wondering. It's like, so the Sorcerer Supreme has the Eye of Agamotto. In the MCU, the Eye of Agamotto housed the Time Stone.
Right.
So yeah. So I guess that is one of the biggest questions. Is now what? Now he just has an empty Eye of Agamotto.
Well, I mean, I know there's a lot of things he can go into realms. He can learn some weird stuff. Like, there's so much magic stuff that he could just like, okay, you can just say, hey, he just learned this thing and he became more powerful. There's books and other relics and stuff. But I feel like every time there's a relic in the MCU, it's just an Infinity Gem. So are you going to do a relic thing, or are you just going to say he's going to learn some more stuff, become more powerful? Like,
I think that was one of the most disappointing things about the MCU. I mean, as much as I love the MCU, is seeing things like the Cosmic Cube and the Eye of Agamotto. And we've talked about this in past episodes of NightcapChat, is like, why does everything have to be an Infinity Stone? Why can't there just be other crazy objects that are just not Infinity Stones? It did work really well. That like all of these things had a purpose, and now like we have this story and like really everything is so connected. And that was really cool.
Yeah.
But like the Staff of Loki, like there's no comic book attachment to that has implications like the Cosmic Cube or the Eye of Agamotto. So like that's kind of frustrating that those things were Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
But there are objects like the Casket of 1,000 Winters and the Eternal Flame, you know?
Fair enough.
And I think maybe the Evil Eye was also in Odin's vault.
Yeah, if it was even real, apparently, because, you know, the
Infinity
Gauntlet
Gauntlet was weird. Yeah.
Or was Infinity Gauntlet from another reality?
Well, she said it was fake. So, I mean, like, but hello, but no, what Odin was doing.
I guess so. That was, I didn't mind that film. That wasn't bad. Anyway, so back to Endgame. Would you, overall as a movie, great movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Phenomenal. Loved it. Beginning, it was a roller coaster emotion, because the beginning you were like, what did they just, you just went in there, killed them, and then
I was really mad. And after they just ran in, chopped off his arm, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that's it? Like, why is this movie 3 hours? Like, you just killed him. So like, so what are we doing? Is this just gonna the end? I thought for sure I wasn't gonna like it. I was like, this is stupid. But it progressively got better. And you know what? Like, the Captain America ending was the most beautiful ending ever.
He didn't deserve it.
What?
He didn't deserve
Why?
it. So he gets mad at Iron Man, right? And this is going back to Age of Ultron, okay? It's mad at Iron Man for trying to protect the world, okay? With a suit of armor, right? He even says this in Endgame. And he's like, no, you can't do that. You can't play God, whatever. We'll lose together, blah, blah, blah. We'll, you know, all that whole spiel. And Iron Man even calls him out on it. And it's like, it's your fault that this happened because you didn't let me do this, right? So you don't let him do that. So Iron Man has to create a way for us to go back into the past, get the Infinity Gems, go back to the current timeline, make an Infinity Gauntlet, kill himself, so you can live happily ever after. You should have died out there with Thanos. He should have stabbed you in your throat and you should have died.
Why?
He's the reason why Iron Man died. Then you let him live happily ever after because he can't live in the current reality knowing that he's the reason why Iron Man died? Give me a break.
No.
He doesn't deserve it. That's a joke.
He was like noble and he was trying to do the right thing.
No. He's not noble.
Captain America is not noble.
No.
Okay.
A man without, what was it? A man without war. A man about peace, but can't live without war.
Okay.
I can't vomit in my mouth.
No.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was touching, but it was like, okay, you killed Iron Man because of that, but I don't know.
That's
I
not
get
why
it.
he sacrificed himself.
He sacrificed himself because
you
of
should
incompetence.
be so excited.
So excited. No, everything frustrated me about that whole part.
But at least that he went out, like, the reason why he died was to save the entire universe.
Yes, that's great. There's nothing better than that. But I love Iron Man. I have almost every Iron Man comic. I have an Iron Man tattoo. Okay. He can't, I don't want him making an Infinity Gauntlet. Let alone literally making two, like in the movie. Like he made one and then put it onto his own hand. Like what? And then it was just.
He did in the comics though.
I don't like that because you're taking away from the magic and the now because like in the MCU you have like this Infinity Gauntlet. You're like, oh cool, they're introducing Infinity Gauntlet. Okay, the dwarves made it. Okay, well they made Thor's hammer. It's magical. Well they're rare race kind of a thing. All right, it's made in a star. Like okay, sure, I'll go with that. Then Iron Man just makes two real quick. Like anyone could just poop out an Infinity Gauntlet now.
Wait, go.
This is it's ridiculous. Like why do we just.
Aren't you excited that Tony Stark is smart enough to make like technology that's equivalent to the magic of a dwarf?
Okay, maybe if it took him like 10 years, not in like, okay, I think I got this, guys, and just instantly make one. When he's never made anything to hold one. Forget about hold like all these other ones. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but I mean, what do you want?
I really didn't like that. I just feel like you're taking away from the Infinity Gauntlet.
You're right. And they took so much away from the Infinity Gauntlet at that point, but at least it's based on some kind of comic though.
That is true.
At least it's something.
One thing I did like that I didn't realize till after the fact was when Captain Marvel's fighting Thanos, and you said when he grabs the Infinity Stone out and punches her with it, and then he tries to hit her again, and nothing happens. You know why?
Because the stones are gone.
No, he still had them. She came after him again. He punched her with the Infinity Stone, right?
The Power Stone.
Power Stone,
whatever
right?
it was. Yeah.
What's her ability?
The Space Stone, I guess.
No, one of her powers is she absorbs energy. She punched him with it and she absorbed it, came back, he hit her, and nothing happened because she had just absorbed the power from it. So he was just like, come at me, bro. So that's one thing I thought was like really cool that you might not, like people might not even realize till after the fact. Like she might even be more powerful than she was before. She just got punched with an Infinity Stone, just absorbed it and was like, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, her powers are essentially, they're of the Space Stone,
Right. And she can absorb any type of energy projectile and shoot it back out. That's part of her ability. So I found that pretty cool and pretty interesting. As far as, Iron Man dying, it's great. It's frustrating because in my opinion, you didn't give me the Mandarin, a real Mandarin.
I know.
And you didn't give me Fing Fang Foom. You didn't give me Armor Wars, and you just ended it. And like, there's so much left to go with that story. And Civil War was great. Iron Man 2 is I just didn't say terrible, which wasn't that good. Iron Man 3 really was bad, especially because they messed up the Mandarin. It had a lot of potential. I loved it up until the Mandarin, to be honest, because I loved the whole post-traumatic stress thing because, I mean, he's a human. He just went with this whole thing through New York. Yeah, it should mess you up. You shouldn't just be some superhero and like, oh yeah, I just killed like millions of aliens and saved the planet and all this stuff and just be okay. Like it was a really good, it made him human.
Yep.
They did a really good job with that, but there was just so much more left, it felt like. And given maybe they can go back and say, hey, there was 5 years between then, we can put a movie that happened in between then with the Mandarin or something.
Sure.
I'd be happy then if they did that. If they just give me the Mandarin, that's all I'm asking. But that's the only thing that's kind of,
I know. And that's frustrating, but you just got to look back and you just got to remember there was a time where we never thought we would even get like a smidgen of a crossover like Avengers, let alone a crossover like Infinity War.
Yeah.
And just, it's cool that we even got what we got. And it's really cool, to be a Marvel fan, because especially look at something like DC and like they have a hard time just doing a Justice League movie, let alone a crossover beyond that.
Right.
Which is unfortunate because DC has a lot of potential and they have all the rights to their characters and they've got some cool characters, and it's a shame. And hopefully in the next couple of years they'll get it together. So, wow, we are running over here. So last couple points on Endgame. Going forward, what do you hope to see?
What do I hope to see?
What's your biggest hope now that we know where the MCU stands? What do you want? What do you want out of the MCU right now?
And after the credit scene, that was really like confusing for a second. No, after the credit scene, after something like that, I mean, I could see them maybe just, they want to put out a viral video or something where they're like, here's your after the credit scene in like a month from now. And then they just put it online and everyone's just going to go view it. That'd be kind of cool. But as far as the MCU is concerned itself, I really would like to see something with Kang or some sort of a celestial being, something that you didn't give me that I really want. I think that's my biggest thing. Or maybe just show me how you're crossing over Fantastic Four and X-Men into this.
I'm very much so. I mean,
honestly,
as far as Marvel characters go, like X-Men characters are my favorite. Like my top 3 of my top 5 favorite characters are Deadpool, Cable, and Domino. And besides that, it's Ghost Rider and Blade. And that's 2 other characters that they've recently obtained the rights to that we haven't properly seen. I mean, we've seen a little bit of Ghost Rider, but.
Well, I like that they pretty much set up Deadpool to be put into the MCU with going back and fixing his timeline. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. And if they do just immediately just kind of push him in and just say, all right, you're part of the MCU now. And honestly, that'd be great. Love all the Deadpool movies. I'm really curious to see how they do the X-Men because they've already went back in time with the X-Men franchise fixed it, and now they're putting out a terrible looking Dark Phoenix movie and probably going to waste it for 10 years. So it's a good thing they're probably going to do a Kang thing.
But how does it make it's really weird because the apocalypse takes place in the 80s and she uses the Phoenix Force at the end. But now in this Dark Phoenix movie, she gets the Phoenix Force in the beginning of the movie. So are they just screwing up again?
Probably.
Or it's a
they're
psychic
trying to
thing?
They're trying to pump out a movie.
They were.
I just hope that they don't do something. I'm not saying Marvel's to do something dumb, but I just hope that they don't, get the rights back and they're like, well, how do we like try to fix this? And they just go straight to like Hope or something.
Yeah, that would be disappointing. It would be really cool to see a Dark Phoenix movie integrated into the MCU, but it's just a shame because now it's been done twice. So I think they'd really hesitate on doing that for a while. And that's evident of movies like Spider-Man. They got Spider-Man in the MCU and they're afraid to do Green Goblin or Mary Jane the same way or Gwen Stacy. We're about to get a second movie.
Understandable.
Like they don't want to do an Origins and they don't want to have the Green Goblin.
It's understandable. I think Dark Phoenix, you don't have to do that right away. Like you could wait 40 movies and before you do a Dark Phoenix thing. Like it doesn't even have to.
Yes, you're right.
It's not that big of a thing. You could wait till you do an Avengers versus X-Men movie, which you just like, and then put the Dark Phoenix in it and just completely change everything. So it's not something they have to rush. It'd be nice to see them to do the X-Men the right way. And I'm not saying they did a horrible job, but it just hasn't been all that. It hasn't been all that good.
It just sucks because Jean Grey Phoenix is like the best version of her. So like to not have that within 6 X-Men adventures, kind of sucks. But I mean, maybe we'd get a good Apocalypse. Maybe we'll finally get Mr. Sinister, and Mr. Sinister leading into Apocalypse, which would be really neat.
It would just be interesting to see what they do with Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Magneto, whole thing. I know like they keep changing. Oh, they're parents. Oh no, they're not. They are. They aren't. But to see if they make them mutants or not mutants, or if they change, because they're changing things as they go. They're like they're not.
They're changing as they go because of the movies, and now that they have the rights back, like they're gonna just change it back.
Right.
I won't be surprised if they turn out to be Magneto's orphaned kids like that. That won't be a big deal. One of the biggest things the Fox movies got wrong was a lot of the relationships of the characters. Juggernaut was not, related to Professor X or his stepbrother or whatever he was. Although Deadpool 2 kind of started to retcon that and like, yeah, I'm like my stepbrother is all, what. But Mystique didn't seem to be related to Rogue or Nightcrawler.
Yeah, what's that all about?
That was really weird. And I just don't understand why they wasted it, because wouldn't that have been further character development? Like, why did they have to be unrelated? But then there was this weird relationship with Mystique and Professor X, which just seemed pretty random.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the thought process behind any of it. I mean, it's almost like watching Warner Brothers do a DC film or something. But hopefully they can fix it. I feel like I know Marvel, they have their plans, and then they have said that they have their plans with or without the rights and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They have ideas and stuff. And I think maybe that's part of the reason why they didn't want to do an after the credit scene, was because they're like, well, we just got the rights back. We don't know exactly what's going to come up next, kind of a thing. Let's just hold the bullet and just wait.
I think it was mostly because like this was the end of a huge story arc.
And they did give you after the credit scenes too. It was like that Captain America thing almost felt like an after the credit scene. The Spider-Man going back to his school almost seemed like an after the credit scene. Like they're basically doing after the credit scenes, just putting it right at the end of the movie.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And especially with Spider-Man allegedly being the real end of phase 3 here. So we'll see what that really means, because that seems like a really strong thing to say about something that seems like it should be generally insignificant to the big picture.
Especially with Mysterio.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think it'd be interesting to see if that black suit that's in the toys that just looks like it's cloth and goggles. It seems like it looks like it's from S.H.I.E.L.D. And, it might have a S.H.I.E.L.D. logo and stuff on it, but what if Venom's actually in it? and there's like Venom tech within the suit, and there's something that's causing Venom to stay within these cloths and stuff, and maybe the Venom symbiote gets unleashed at the end. I don't know. That might be crazy.
Some way to keep Spider-Man relevant with all these insanely strong beings, maybe.
Well, Spider-Man is pretty powerful, but I mean, Black Suit Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man, right?
Exactly. And they did talk about also doing Secret Wars after this.
Secret Wars would be cool.
Which would be really cool. So maybe they do something with Secret Wars, give Spider-Man the Venom costume, which would make him somewhat relevant to fight, certain beings, and that would be involved in that.
Yeah.
But maybe even, instead of having the Beyonder be part of it, maybe they have Kang be a part of it with the whole time travel thing.
Interesting.
And try to, because how they don't keep everything 100%. They try, sometimes they mix villains.
How do you explain the Beyonder to a general audience? I mean,
it's really difficult.
It's almost as difficult as explaining the origins of Galactus, which most comic book fans, you might know Galactus, but if you cannot think right now what the origins of Galactus are, I challenge you to look it up, because it's ridiculous. And I guarantee that will never be adapted into a movie storyline.
It'd be so cool to have I'm excited to see a Galactus movie. I think that's also something. I just hope it's not something that they do like Fantastic Four did, where it's just a Fantastic Four 2 movie. We're just going to throw Galactus in there. They're going to kill him. And it's like, Galactus should be like an Avengers movie, like almost an Infinity War type of thing.
It could be a third Fantastic Four movie.
But it needs to have more than just the Fantastic Four.
But it needs, yes. And I would also say there needs to be a huge thing with the Silver Surfer first.
Yes.
And then they realize that this is all just because Galactus is coming. And wow, there's something else going. Because there's no reason, especially you have characters like Captain Marvel and the Guardians of the Galaxy dealing with all of these threats across the universe. Why isn't Galactus already one of them?
Right.
If Loki can be the bad guy in more than one movie, so can Galactus. And I think Marvel realizes that. They're not Fox and only have the rights to do this once, Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool if you just put him in like a Guardians movie, and then the Guardians can't stop him, or he just kind of goes away or whatever, but then he comes back later on.
Or they see the aftermath and they figure out what it is, and whatever it is. And Marvel seems to know what they're doing, and that'll be very exciting, especially after the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer movie. But that is probably about all the time we have for it today. Lance, thank you for coming in and joining us on the third episode here.
You're welcome.
We got Free Comic Book Day coming up this weekend, May 4th, which coincides with the nerd holiday. May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day. Huge event going on at Drawn to Comics in Glendale. So for those of you listening in Arizona, it's a good time to be had. There'll be lots of artists, different vendors, some comic book reading, some other podcasts will be there. The 501st will be trooping there. So get your Free Comic Book Day fix. Definitely head down to Drawn to Comics. But thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like and follow, and tune in next week.